Today, we are here at the Delhi School of Business, a management education institute claiming to be empowered with technology-driven learning management systems and supporting educational infrastructure. The occasion is a day-long conclave on management education for modernizing India.
A very warm welcome to all of you. I welcome you all to the special management conclave. Delhi School of Business presents Management Education for Modernizing India. We have two very special and interesting sessions ahead of us today, where we will be talking about the changing face of business education in India and how business education needs to reinvent itself in the changing corporate, economic, and social times. The first session for the day is going to discuss corporate socialization and acculturation skills for the graduates who are passing out from business schools, and also what is it that the corporate world is looking at from fresh graduates when they are hiring them. I'll start by inviting Dr. Rachel Davis, Dean of Delhi School of Business, to establish the theme of the session.
Good afternoon, everybody. To our panel here, thank you for coming. We frequently use an idiom and we talk about a Darwinian world. A Darwinian world would suggest one which is violent and dog eat dog. But poor Darwin, I think he's quite misquoted, because what he was really talking about, and is something that is relevant to us today, is he said that the survival of the fittest is not for the strongest or the smartest. It is for those who can adapt and change. And it's about adaptability and change that we are talking today, because all you students who have been in an academic environment for the greater part of your life have been in a cultural and organizational context which is or has very little resemblance to a corporate organizational context. And you will be moving there, and we have to prepare you to be in this new organizational context. So what we want to do today is to hear from our very august panel about the kind of requirements, the non-academic requirements, or even some of the academic requirements that they find lacking, but specifically the non-academic, which would facilitate a proper transition for students into the work world. Thank you.
Now let me formally welcome our guests. We have with us Mr. Dilip Cherian, founder, Perfect Relations, Mr. Akhil Bansal, CEO, KPMG in India, Mr. Rajat Mukherjee, Chief Corporate Affairs Officer, Idea Cellular, and of course, your very own Dr. Rachel Davis. Let me first put the question straight to you, ma'am. What are the challenges that you face while working on a management degree, while designing a management degree, that when the students study and pass out with, they fit in the corporate world?
The academic part is, I wouldn't say easy, but it's definitely more standardized, because this is a globalized degree. It's those other issues. When they join us, we know that they lack in communication skills, certain types of social and interpersonal skills.
Right.
Because the behavior of young men and women in a classroom where they have their groups, etc., is not similar to an organizational hierarchy by any stretch of imagination. Nor do they have much of an understanding of the time span of a career and how long it takes a career to get to various different stages. So these are the kind of things that we want them to understand before they leave us.
Mr. Mukherjee, what do you think about students who are coming from business schools without any experience versus the ones who go to a business school with experience, get their MBA degrees, and then come? How easy or difficult is it to work with fresh minds versus students who come with a little work ex somewhere and then an MBA degree?
I don't think there is any one size fits all for any individual or for an organization. The first thing I was told when I joined as a management trainee many, many, many years ago, and I shall not say how many years ago, but was, Rajat, you are an agent of change. You have to learn to make everybody around you adapt. I don't think it's changed very much in the last several years. So people who come into a service environment need to understand how to work in multicultural teams, cross-functional teams, to be able to contribute, to be able to take a leadership role at a time, and to be able to devolve and be led at different times. It's that ability to understand your own strengths and deal from them.
Do you expect that the students come with a know-how that they blend in well, or is it that you mentor them also? I think I'll put it to Mr. Akalbans.
So yes and no. Every organization, every group has its own induction program, has own training program, and we don't expect the freshers to come with all the possible knowledge and just to start working on day one. But having said that, I said yes and no, is that we are impatient like anybody else. And why we are impatient is because it's a different dynamic world altogether. So everybody is expecting to grow faster. Everybody is paid 20x than the salary used to be 20 years back. That impatience comes from there. And when that impatience is there are some basic characteristics which you expect the person to have. So we can't afford to, given the salary we are paying in year 1, 2, 3, given the goals we have to grow, given the way the world is growing, we can't expect to spend 3 years just to train a person to say now he's ready to deliver something. So the expectation is that we will do that fine-tuning induction and 15 days up and running.
Mr. Charan, do you think the industry that you come from, which is essentially communications, and it's a very recent industry in terms of curriculum development, what are you looking at? And when students come to you, do you feel are they equipped, or do you feel a need to mentor them?
Fundamental thing that I find missing, and sometimes schools contribute to actually creating that factor, is that there is this huge sense of entitlement that today's generation enters the workplace with. The first question they often ask is, how many days of leave? And the second thing that they ask is, oh, I want to be in a job or in a task where I can meet new people. So I keep telling them that you should immediately get rid of that person by afternoon and send them to a coffee shop, because then you can check out when you can leave on your own, and you are entitled to meet people. Because a workplace is the exact opposite of a school or a college environment where you're expected to know when class will begin, but more importantly when class will finish. To come to the communications industry, we find that industrial education is woefully inadequate. Getting students from management schools solves part of the problem, that they know the words and the jargon of industry. But do they know the nuances which comes into communications? No. So we've set up our own communications school called PR Sims. All of that is expected to address it. But is that enough? No. Because we can train 10 students a year or 20, but it can't be a global scale. When you need global scale volume of talent to come in, you don't have global scale skill imparting happening at the same time. That's the disconnect I'm seeing today.
Corporate culture. Now that is the buzzword. What is corporate culture according to you, and does it differ from industry to industry? And what do you expect from students who are coming in? How do they adapt to a certain corporate culture that perhaps your company would have?
When you ask me about corporate culture, it is team building. We are very, very process oriented. We don't have functional stovepipes. We don't have the typical manufacturing, we don't have the typical finance, we don't have the typical sales. It's all one bunched together. Because the impact of what you do out in sales can be felt by the finance person, definitely in the network, and can be picked up by marketing, and IT is the bridge between the whole lot of them. So cross-functional teams, the ability to be able to sit in with your specialization, which could be marketing, let's say, hypothetically, but also be sufficiently knowledgeable or accede that position to somebody in your team who has more knowledge than you. and therefore work with the strengths of the group rather than yourself and say, I'm a Mr. Know-it-all.
What most companies, what industry expects from business school graduates is, first of all, conceptual clarity and depth. I think there's a serious gap here. Then the right attitude, humility, willingness to learn, get your hands dirty, do operational jobs before you do strategic jobs, head office jobs. I think in both these areas, there is a problem.
Business schools have done a human job in terms of providing resources, and I think over these last 20 years we have seen how these institutes have contributed. I don't think the purpose of these institutes is to prepare everyone completely for an industry. I think the industry would need to provide them contextual knowledge, domain expertise and so on, which is relevant to their industry. But I think the institute does provide them with modern tools, perspectives and so on, so that they can actually enhance their own roles in these organizations.